I just had a week that should have triggered a massive binge eating, but it didn't. If you're in a season of high stress because of travel, holidays, vacation, even a project deadline, you need to hear this because I want you to steal my exact strategy. Because one stressful week can unravel every single gain you've worked so hard to make. After 40 plus years of emotional eating myself, and after helping several hundred women conquer emotional eating with the tactics that I learned as the chief of staff for FBI counterintelligence, yes, really, I promise you, you can get through the most chaotic, sleep deprived, travel heavy week without binge eating if you follow a specific plan. I'm about to reveal the 5 exact steps I used during one of the most stressful weeks of my entire year, a week that should have triggered a binge, but didn't. This was hands down one of the best weeks of my entire life, but it was also one of the most challenging. I flew from Pennsylvania to Denver to be the keynote speaker at the PMI Mile High Women in Project Management Leadership Conference. And as a 19-year PMP, it was such a huge honor to keynote for PMI, speaking on the topic of the weight of leadership. It was it was literally one of the highlights of my year. And this was my first time in Denver. And I loved the city. I loved all of the people there. I mean, the people in Denver, I was expecting mean, rude city people. Oh my goodness, the people in Denver are some of the nicest people I have ever met. So, yes, this was definitely one of the highlights of my year. And you might be thinking, okay, Holly, what's the big deal? Well, the amount of stress from that week would have normally triggered massive binge eating for me and could have, and honestly, probably should have triggered a massive binge this time around, which not ideal for someone who actually has recovered from 40 plus years of emotional eating and the whole weight gain, weight loss roller coaster. So let me share with you what went on behind the scenes last week that no one sees, and then I will get into the tactics and the strategy that you can steal. This is the behind the scenes. It's kind of crazy. So first of all, I live 2 hours away from the closest airport. I literally live in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. So traveling to and from the airport, it created additional travel that I had to plan for. The government was shut down at the time. So there wasn't just normal stress from traveling and driving to an airport and getting on an airplane and flying across the country. There was also all of the TSA delays and the flight delays that I had to worry about. And then there was the time zone difference. Oh, it was only 2 hours. You might be thinking, okay, no big deal. But even though it was only 2 hours, my body rebelled. My sleep was minimal. I mean, I was up every single morning at 3 a.m. every morning, wide awake, ready to go. And I was joking with everyone. They're like, how on earth are you functioning after not sleeping? And I just joked. I said, I'm fueled by, let's see, adrenaline, caffeine, Colorado vibes, and whatever the wacky weed was in the air. And if you've ever been to Denver, you know the smell that I'm talking about. And if you've ever been to Denver, you know the whole altitude situation too. So my home, I'm at 600 feet above sea level. So now Denver, I'm at 5,200 feet above sea level. So there's quite a few times that I felt out of breath. I'm in my hotel room and I'm practicing my speech and I'm getting winded just practicing my speech in the hotel room, let alone going on stage for 2 hours. This was not a stand behind the podium kind of speech. This was a play full out movement all over the stage kind of speech. And on top of it, because I was the keynote speaker and because it was such an important audience, I put so much extra pressure on myself because I wanted to perform at my absolute best for those entire 2 hours. Okay. You know, you know those influencers you see on Instagram and they show the footage of them, and they're flying, and look at me on this wonderful flight. Look how happy I am on my flight. And then they're speaking on stage, and they're getting the applause, and they're getting the high fives, and it looks so professional and glamorous. Okay, I can't speak for them, but I am telling you, Exhibit A right here, it was not glamorous. Because on the inside, based on everything that I just told you, all of that stress that was going on in my life, on the inside, I felt like a hot mess. It was everything that I could to just push that aside and show up as the most professional version of Holly Bertone that I could. Yes, I will take this opportunity, shameless self-promotion, if your organization is interested in hiring me as a keynote or as a workshop speaker. I will put the link in the show notes as to how to get in touch with me. Old Holly would have been craving all of the sugar and the treats because of this week. I would have been thrown into emotional eating after just one or two of the things that I listed, let alone the entire list of all of the stress. Old Holly would have convinced myself that I deserve the snack food to reward myself for such a stressful week and for such a good job done. Old Holly would have gone on a full-on binge after the keynote when I was back in my hotel room. This is what I used to do. I would have planned out my reward treat. I would have it planned. I would have it in the hotel room in a special place, waiting to go, totally prepped. And I would have been thinking about it the entire time. That's old Holly. So you want to know what actually happened? Okay, first of all, nothing. It was pretty uneventful. Actually, let me back up. Almost nothing happened, which is actually almost normal, what almost normal should look like. So I'll share this with you, and then I'll give you the 5 steps that you can take right now if you're facing a stressful week, and especially if you're traveling in the near future. So after the keynote, when I got back to the hotel room, I had that whole adrenaline thing. I don't know, maybe if you've ever done something and you're all amped up, but you're exhausted. So I'm back in the hotel room and I've got that whole amped up with adrenaline, but just needing to collapse. And my mind instantly went to food. But this time was different. And I remember they had given out these, I guess you would call them boutique chocolates. So they were 3 of them in this little bag. And there were these little chocolate truffles, these small little chocolate truffles, and they were, kind of a boutique style. And I pulled them out of my bag and I looked at them with all of the love in the world. And I actually did say what old Holly would have said. I said, I deserve a treat. But here's the difference, is I ate those 3 little truffles and that was it. I was done. I didn't need to go searching, to go devouring everything in sight. I was done. I actually knew how to stop. So fast forward the next morning, I'm up at 1 a.m. again. So I did a little bit of work and then I just got ready and I just left for the airport super early. I was like, you know what? There's going to be the lines and the delays and all the things. I may as well just get there early. And so I got to the airport, went through TSA, and Denver Airport has a restaurant called Elway's. After John Elway, he was quarterback number 7 back in the day. Still an icon. He has a restaurant there. So, and I wanted a sit-down restaurant. So I'm sitting down and everyone is at the bar and they're drinking their mimosas at 7 o'clock in the morning. And what did I do? I ate 2 cheeseburgers for breakfast. Yes, you heard that right. I ate 2 bacon cheeseburgers for breakfast. And I will tell you why in a second, because this is the perfect segue to share with you the exact 5 steps that I did to prevent that binge during the stressful week of just stress and travel. So for context, if you are new around here, I had already brainwashed myself to conquer emotional eating. Back when I had turned 59, I put on a lot of weight. And the traditional nutrition guidance that I had learned in my health coaching certifications, they totally failed me. So I created the signature process. It's called See It, Stop It, Shift It. And that is what helped me lose 20 pounds and maintain my ideal weight. And it's exactly what I have taught hundreds of students to do inside of the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator so that they can brainwash themselves to stop binge eating and to actually lose weight sustainably. And I'm not going to get into the entire process here, but I am going to give you the 5 ways that I incorporated this process during my stressful week. Number 1 is I planned ahead. I am a 19-year PMP. I'm a project manager by training, and I am keynoting at a PMI event. So if I did not plan ahead, something is really wrong with this picture. Planning ahead was necessity. I meal prepped ahead of time. I actually packed food. I put it in my carry-on bag. I surveilled the hotel, total FBI style, surveilled the hotel ahead of time. I made sure they had a fridge, made sure they had a microwave. I packed snacks that I knew was going to help when I got cravings. They were healthier snacks that could go in the suitcase that didn't need to be refrigerated. And also, I made sure my hotel was in walking distance of restaurants with real food. So not only did I research the amenities at the hotel, I also checked out what restaurants are close by and emphasis on restaurants with real food. Number 2, the theme of the week was fat and protein, because I know that when I'm under stress, when any of us are under stress, the body is going to crave sugar and the processed carbs. And for me, when I crave the sugar processed carbs, I just want to eat everything in sight. And old Holly would have eaten everything in sight. So to counter this, I made sure I had plenty of fat and protein that entire week. I made sure I had access to a hearty breakfast every single day, and especially the day of the keynote. And honestly, I didn't even care what that looked like. I mean, one morning, my breakfast was just this heaping plate of bacon. Yes, really, a heaping plate of bacon, because I wasn't sure about what lunch would look like that day. And that plate of bacon, it kept me full and it kept me satisfied to the point where I didn't even think about snacks. Number 3, I acknowledged the reality of the week. I was fully aware that any of the cravings that I did experience, it was because of the increased stress and the lack of sleep. And I always tell my students and my clients, awareness is the win. When you can actually pause, when you can just be aware of what your body is feeling, ask yourself, why am I craving this? And when you ask yourself that, it sets you up for a chance to make a different decision than the one that's just going to be automatic to eat the junk food. This step is the big obvious, but this step moves the needle. Number 4, and I'll share with you exactly how I checked in with myself when I actually did want to eat everything in sight. So let's go back to the Denver airport and the 2 bacon cheeseburgers. On the day of the keynote, I had breakfast. I had a Prima bar mid-morning, but that was it for the entire day. So by the time I got to the airport the next morning, and especially after waking up at 1 a.m., I was in this sleep-deprived fog. I mean, I don't even know how I was functioning. I don't even know how I got to my gate. But when I got there, I realized, oh my goodness, I am starving. Like that starving where you are just going to eat everything in sight. The first thing that you see, you're going to eat it, and you're going to eat everything in sight. That kind of starving. So again, I went to a real sit-down restaurant because I know that the food quality is at least going to be a little bit better than, the cheapy stuff that you kind of go through the line. So I went to Elway's. And before I even ordered, I checked in with myself. I asked myself, why am I just famished? Why am I starving like this? And it was, it's because when I speak, I never eat. I never eat the day when I speak because, trust me, you do not want to hear that on stage. Yeah, no. So I literally had not eaten in 24 hours. And I looked at the menu. And I knew exactly what I wanted for breakfast. My eyes went right to the bacon cheeseburger. And no bun, of course, because gluten and I do not get along. So yes, I ordered a bacon cheeseburger for breakfast at 7 a.m. No, let me rephrase this. I unapologetically ordered a bacon cheeseburger for breakfast at 7 a.m. And can I just tell you, it was so good. And after I ate the cheeseburger, I sat there for a while and I realized I'm still hungry, which brings us to number 5. I sat in that discomfort of my hunger, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 more minutes to digest, to be fully present to all of the feels that I was feeling. And I asked myself, am I body hungry or am I brain hungry? And I checked in. Yeah, I was definitely body hungry. So exactly how body hungry am I? I was really only one small notch above when I was when I first sat down. My hunger was literally almost the same as before I even ate the first cheeseburger. So yeah, I was enough body hungry that I unapologetically ordered a second bacon cheeseburger for breakfast. And I ate the entire thing because I needed to fuel my body. And not only had I not eaten in 24 hours, which was kind of a cool fast. Well, not really because I had the chocolate, but I was also getting on a 5-hour flight with a 2-hour drive home. And there's not really any options to stop on the way. I mean, decent options. I'm not going to stop at fast food. So I'm strategizing this and I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to be the only food that I'm going to eat all day. So this, my friend, this is real world, real life implementation. This is real world survival. This is what it looks like to have a stressful week, to get really messy, to make the best decisions that you can when you're under stress, when you're on travel. Because here's the thing, in my normal life, I work out of my home office. My commute is upstairs, is like literally walking up the stairs. Life is really comfortable. I have my routine every single day. I know what I'm going to eat. I'm very comfortable on a day-to-day basis. So this is real life. This is what happens in real life and how you can counter those tendencies to binge when life gets messy. Before I wrap up, let me recap the 5 things that you can do today if you are in the middle of a stressful season. Number 1, plan ahead. Number 2, prioritize fat and protein. Number 3, acknowledge the reality of the week or the time that you're in. Number 4, check in with yourself. And then number 5, sit in the discomfort. You see, the best part of brainwashing yourself with see it, stop it, shift it are for moments like this. Because it's easy to be disciplined when life is routine. It's also easy to throw all of your progress out of the window when life throws you a curveball. This 3-step process has completely changed my life. My students, my clients, they tell me all of the time how it's changed their lives too. Because here's the truth, life isn't always easy. And especially when you've got project deadlines and vacation and holidays or just a season of life that's just out of routine for whatever reason. And it's so easy to say, oh, screw it. I'm just going to start over on Monday or in January or after the project is over, after vacation's over. But what if, instead of constantly starting over, you had a process that helps you to sustain healthy eating or at least not binge eat even during the busiest and stressful seasons? How much confidence would you have knowing that you have a system that is going to support you on some of the hardest days and weeks, even when that hard is something really good? And if you've been listening today and you're nodding along because you know the kind of emotional eating and binge eating that those stressful weeks can cause, I have something for you that I think you're going to find interesting. It's a behind the scenes of this 3-step process, so you can get a full understanding of how to actually conquer emotional eating. And I'll leave a link in the show notes, or you can DM me on Instagram at holly.bertone, Bertone, with the word training, and I will send the free training right over. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly Bertone, your emotional eating profiler and coach, and this is Weight Loss Forensics.